now. Jakob, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bastian, for those kind words. At least I feel like one of you. And I apologize up front if there's an echo because I'm in the summer house. And between me and my kids, the only place I could sit undisturbed is in the shower. So if there's a little bit of an echo, I apologize. But I'm Jacob Petersen, and I'm a doctor of medical science and a professor at the medical faculty in Copenhagen. But first and foremost, I have worked at Novo Nordisk for more than 25 years. I actually started my career on prevention and prediction of type 1 diabetes. And there was 25 years ago tremendous hope that we will find a cure, but it has been a little bit disappointing to say it mildly, and I'm going to get back to that. Then I worked on obesity and diabetes, type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. But what stayed with me over the years was type 1 diabetes. I always got back to that for some strange reason and kept on working on that, despite all the other things I also did. And then more recently, I was given the responsibility, as Bastian said, to head up what we call the Stem Cell Research and Development Unit. And in that unit, we actually try to develop stem cell-based treatment for serious chronic diseases like Parkinson's disease, chronic heart failure, blindness, but of course, first and foremost, type 1 diabetes, where we want from stem cells to produce insulin-producing beta cells, so we can use those for transplantations for patients that have type 1 diabetes, so we can provide a cure to these patients. So, as you can understand, I have worked with type 1 diabetes for basically my entire career, and then something happened. 4 years ago, my daughter Vita, who was 4 years old at the time, she got type 1 diabetes. And I thought, well, how difficult can it be, 5 injections of insulin, measure blood glucose 10 times a day, and then you're good. I thought I knew everything. I'm also the chairman of the Danish chapter of JDRF. I speak to patients, I speak to doctors, I speak to everybody that's involved in type 1 diabetes, but nothing could prepare me for the experience of getting a child with type 1 diabetes. Because it turned out I actually didn't know that much. It turned out that living with type 1 diabetes is very, very different than working with type 1 diabetes and talking to patients. It turned out that my daughter, she's the most wonderful and fantastic person. And I actually feel a little bit blessed that I got this experience because now, having worked with type 1 diabetes for my entire career, I actually know what the patients need, what the patients want, how difficult it is. It's not just about giving insulin, it's about all the thoughts that go in it every second of the day, basically, if you want to treat your type 1 diabetes in a good way. And that was a surprise to me. But I'm thankful that God chose our family to put a child with type 1 diabetes because, first of all, I can really use it in my job. And secondly, it was an eye awakener that actually makes both a better father, but certainly also a better researcher trying to find a cure, as I just explained, for type 1 diabetes using stem cells. So that is a little bit my story, and in relation to the stem cells, I have been involved in clinical trials where we want to preserve the insulin production in individuals that have type 1 diabetes, and I have been involved in many different research projects. But actually now, for the first time, I think there's hope. I have actually promised my daughter that before she grows up and move away from home, I will do, together with the fantastic team I'm working with, and also a lot of other groups around the world that are working on this problem, I will try to find a cure together with my colleagues for my daughter. And that's a promise I've given her. So she will not die with diabetes, hopefully. And that is really a privilege. And that is why, as Bastian said, I feel like one of you, even though I don't have type 1 diabetes, but my daughter have it. And right now I have it for my daughter because we are, of course, treating her and trying to make her live as normal life as possible. But the vision is, of course, that she can live a completely normal life without us interfering. And there I think for the first time in my entire career that there is actually a little bit light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a matter of if we can do it, it's a matter of when we will be able to do it. That is what I strongly believe. And that is the message I would like to convey to you today.
Jakob, thank you very much. You just said you don't live with diabetes, but in a way you do. In Germany, I don't know what the terms are in different countries, but we know type 1 diabetes. This is what you're mostly researching on right now and what your daughter has. There's type 2 diabetes. There's LADA, MODY, and many other forms of diabetes. But in Germany, we also talk about type F diabetes. And the F stands for friends and family. And people having a child with diabetes, or Mona, my beautiful girlfriend, having me as her boyfriend living with diabetes. You know, friends, family, relatives, they live with diabetes differently, of course, but in a way just as much. And in the phone conversation we had just a couple of days ago, you said what probably every parent of a child with diabetes can relate to, that you said two things. A, you would give your right arm for your daughter to not have this. And B, you talked a little bit about how you set an alarm every night since 4 years to make sure your daughter is all right. You set an alarm, you get up, you check her blood glucose, you make sure she's fine, and you will continue, I am sorry to say, you will continue to do so probably for a number of years, and you will continue to worry about her for a number of years. And that, on the other hand, makes you part of this family of people living with diabetes, whether or not you have it or your daughter Vidar has it, who I've seen in a video that Nu and Novo Nordisk posted a while ago. I hope I will get to see her one day myself.
Yes, you will for sure.
I must also say I did have a chance almost 2 years ago to visit your laboratories here in Copenhagen. And it was quite amazing to see under the microscope these little isolated cells that are, I assume, beta cells doing their job. They're under a microscope now. They're not yet in our bodies, but I'm very happy to hear that you didn't name a number of years, because we've heard this so often, that the cure is only 5 years away. You didn't say that. You said you promised your daughter that when she grows up, there will hopefully be a cure, and you and your team, you are the ones who hopefully will be part of that process, and maybe even the ones making that possible.
Yeah, and the fantastic thing is that it's not only us at Novo Nordisk who is working relentlessly on trying to find a cure for individuals with type 1 diabetes. It's actually also a lot of other companies. So that's why I'm so optimistic, because we know if we transplant human cadaver islets isolated from healthy individuals into diabetic patients, we know that it can normalize blood glucose. So what we need to do is to, in a safe and effective manner, be able to make the insulin-producing beta cells. And there we and a lot of other groups have made significant progress over the last few years. And some are already in humans, some are on the way. And there are many hurdles and many obstacles, but I do truly believe that one day we will be able to offer this to individuals that suffers from type 1 diabetes. That is a strong belief of mine, and also a promise to my now 8-year-old daughter.
You're an 80-year-old daughter named Vida, who has managed the first 4 years with her help of you and your whole family. I know you have 6 children in total, but I'm sure she is very close to your heart for many reasons. Jakob,
yes.
Thank you very much for joining us. Usually corporate partners only get 5 minutes like everybody else. You noticed that you almost got 10, but I thought this was really important. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for also making this so personal, and for therefore giving people like me, like us watching, maybe a very real glimpse for the hope that is maybe at the end of the tunnel. Maybe not in 5 years, but maybe a little bit further down the road. Hopefully before your daughter grows as old as I am now. And last not least, also again, thank you to Novo Nordisk for supporting this program and for bringing you here. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Good luck for you, for your work, and say hello to your daughter when you see her.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Jacob.